You find out life's this game of inches. So is football. Because in either game, life or football, the margin for error is so small. I mean, one half a step too late or too early, and you don't quite make it. One half second too slow, too fast, you don't quite catch it. The inches we need are everywhere around us.
Welcome into the Gibson Fantasy Football Podcast.
Yeah.
Playoffs.
All right. It's good to be
We're
back.
here, man. We're here to talk about playoffs. It's the time of the year.
It's that time.
Next 3 weeks, they're going to decide who gets the trophy, who's king of the league, who gets the loser trophy, who's the loser of the league.
We got the Blue Balls trophy, man.
Yep. Somebody's going to go home with a happy trophy. Somebody's going to go home with an unhappy trophy. It
What a
was
crazy
banger of a
exciting.
week, man. Of the 10 teams, was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 teams scored 116 points or more.
That's wild.
Yeah. It was like, and I mean, even further to that, 3 teams scored 148 points or more. Like,
Yeah, it was a good week for my team, good week for your team, a good week for Jay's team too, man, but he's just against juggernauts.
yeah, unlucky on the schedule there. But let's work our way through. So let's go with, because we had all those scenarios. If you this, if Justin this,
Mhm.
if Cash this, if I this, if the others this. So let's start with you, which covers the champ of the week. Spoiler alert at the same time, but yours was fairly simplistic. Win and you're the one
Oh
seed,
yeah.
and you took care
The
of
boys
business against
delivered.
Brody, and it wasn't a runaway though at the beginning. Like
No, it
initially
was
going
tight.
into the weekend, it was like, it's fairly interesting, right? Because he had like a bunch of players in the Thursday night game. He left the
Yeah.
Detroit defense in, and that didn't work out because they got beat up on by Green Bay, even though they won the game. Amon Ra
Yeah.
had one of his worst games of the season. It was really only Jacobs that had the hat trick of tutties there. But you sort of
Mhm.
escaped with a pretty good outing on Thursday, considering on your side of things, Jameson Williams had an okay day, and your kicker did really well.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they kept me in
Uh,
it. They kept me in it. Kept me in that
yeah,
margin
so
for to come back there.
yeah, we got off to a decent start, and then really it was the Buffalo game in the afternoon because in the afternoon games, early games, like it was still looking good, and it was certainly trending in your direction. And then obviously you could attest to that crazy Buffalo game.
Oh man, Josh Allen just went nuclear trying to get his team back to the fucking win column, man.
Highest
Just
scoring fantasy
nuclear.
performance of the year by any player.
Yeah, 51 points. Guy
I mean,
just
for
went off.
reference, spoiler alert on the loser of the week was Ryan with 78.7 points. Josh Allen was only 27 points less than
That's insane. One player.
that. Right? I mean, him and you take your next highest player, Justin Jefferson, the two of them would have outscored Ryan's team.
Yeah, JJ finally popped off for me this week. He was having a
Woo!
couple little shitty weeks there, but damn, he came to play.
Yeah, man. He hadn't gone over 100 yards or caught a touchdown in 4 straight games. No, was it 5 straight games?
Five
Four,
straight.
no,
Yeah.
4 straight games. And he did both. He went over 100 and caught 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. Crazy.
So, I mean, yeah, I mean, aside from Bucky Irving getting banged up and Buffalo's defense getting massacred,
Yeah.
everybody on your roster had a good day, and most people had like an exceptionally good day.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was a debacle after that Buffalo game. I was like, okay, I'm good. I'm good to go.
Not even after, like at second quarter,
Yes,
third quarter
second
for
quarter.
sure, it was like, oh, this one's over.
Yeah,
It's
man. Josh Allen
and
too.
he
The
made an
first,
effort with CeeDee Lamb on Monday there, but it was in Dowdle. They both did all right, but at that point you had set the bar just unbreakably high.
yeah, man. Josh Allen, first QB to have 3 rushing touchdowns and 3 passing touchdowns too. Crazy stat. Guy
After
just
he
went
was the
off.
first QB to run, catch, and throw a pass like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, he's just breaking records, man. Setting new ones.
Yeah, he's got that MVP on lockdown, man.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so I mean, your team massacred, second highest score of the entire year at 161.38. So kudos to you. You made sure that one seed was yours, and you'll get to sit pretty and just hang out
Oh
this
yeah.
week.
All
And
right, I
then
guess
the
we should
two
go to
seed,
your match, man.
well, let's go in order. So
All right,
Cash
2 seed.
Cash had a chance to get the number 2 seed and get the bye with a win because of his point total being so high. And
Yeah,
he
motherfucker
elected
didn't even put a
to go
kicker,
with the
man.
old, yeah, the old, oh, I don't
Fucking.
need a kicker.
Oh, he'll need one in the playoffs though.
Yeah. I mean, he got lucky, right? Because Ryan's team, Goff did okay on Thursday. He had a pretty good game there, but
Yeah,
unfortunately, you know, Westbrook Akine did nothing. James Cook had a terrible game. He's the only player in that Bills Rams game not to have a great day.
yeah, it's
Um,
crazy.
didn't get anything from Higgins on Monday. His defense lost him points. Like it was just everything kind of went wrong for him in that regard. Kelsey
Yeah,
didn't do much either, really. So even though Cash didn't put up a very good week, he actually he had the second. He would have lost to every other team in the league this week except Ryan.
Jesus, that's crazy.
So luck is on his side. He's got a little bit of that Chiefs luck going on where just squeaks himself into the 2 seed there, but
Oh, man.
he'll get to rest up for a week and be on the outside looking in.
Yep, we'll see. We'll see how she goes.
And then Justin, this was probably the most exciting one. At least like going into last night or Monday night, but not over the weekend necessarily. So he had a chance to lock down the 3 seed with a win, and looked like Kreger was going to take him out. He was down like
Yeah,
50 some odd points with Jamar Chase, Chase Brown, and Jake Ferguson going into to Monday night.
night.
And
Jamar Chase
right
just
up,
fucking performed, man. They cut
yeah,
him
it was
fucking
funny is
real.
that it was that last play too, like that last 40-something yard touchdown from Jamar Chase was what sealed it. Because up until then, it was going to come down to the wire. But yeah, Chase
Yeah, man.
Brown, another huge day, 21 points. Jamar Chase, 38 points, man. I mean, it's just dude's been insane.
It's
Um,
crazy.
he's the number 7 ranked player on the entire year, and that's with all the quarterbacks involved.
Yeah.
And it was the one, two, Jesus, this is crazy. It was the third time this season he scored 177 yards and at least 2 touchdowns in a game.
Holy crap, that's insane. What the hell?
Yeah. 177 and 2, 193 and 2, 264 and 3. Like
Oh my goodness. That's
when that guy
unreal.
goes off, man, whew, watch out.
Yeah. Damn. Krager had
Crazy.
Krager finally got something out of his San Fran defense though, you know?
I know.
7
We told
sacks.
him, and he's like, "No, fuck you guys."
Yeah, man, he was committed to that San Fran defense, but
Yeah.
he threw he threw in Ray Davis there. Didn't get him anything. Kind of hurt him.
No, he Hail Married at the position because I mean we talked about his buys, right? CJ Stroud, Joe Mixon, Brian Robinson Jr. He benched
Mm,
Darnell Mooney, which turned out to be costly because he had a great game.
yeah,
So I mean his wide receivers were decent as a whole. Yeah, it was really the Ray Davis goose. Like he needed something from him. He needed another player in there.
yeah,
And unfortunately he decided to go. And you would think in a game that the Bills scored 42 points that maybe he does something, but unfortunately, they just said,
Nothing, yeah.
Josh
Joe
Allen,
Ro-
win us the game. We're not going to run the ball.
yeah, pretty much.
So he couldn't hang on, but he still put up an okay week. But got to give him credit under the circumstances when you're missing, Joe Mixon, arguably your best player, and then Brian Robinson
Yeah.
Jr., one of your decent running backs. It's hard. And then
Yep, that was
unfortunately for me, that meant that regardless of what happened, I was going to finish as the 4 seed because everybody ahead of me won. But
mhm.
it took every ounce of effort to finish as the 4 seed in PK.
Dude,
Yeah.
Jay, man, he's got that Joe Burrow fucking comeback mentality.
Goodness, man. So neither of us had a single player playing on Thursday. So it was like, okay. We just went into the weekend and it was like, and neither of us had a player in the Sunday night game. So we knew in that, 6-hour window, every player on our both teams except for Joe Burrow was going to play. And so it was going to be wild. And
Yeah.
it did not disappoint. In the early games, I was convinced it was over. Jordan Addison put up 35 points, man, like 3 for
Yeah.
133. Like, Jesus, 3 touchdowns, 8 for 133 and 3. The one that killed me was Jonnu Smith, man. He went the entire
Oh yeah.
game with 0 receptions. And then the Dolphins go to overtime. And I knew when they were driving down the field, I was like, overtime's not going to be good for me. He's got the
Mhm.
kicker. He's got Jonnu Smith. I got Achan, but I'd rather this game just ends. Sure enough, his kicker kicks a huge field goal to get her into overtime. And then dude catches 3 passes for 44 yards and a touchdown, all in overtime.
That's insane.
Like, son of a bitch, man. So, at that point, he had Marvin Harrison left. He had Garendo left, and then he had Burrow on Monday. And I had
Orlando had a
Kyler.
good week too, man.
Yeah. I had Kyler, Puka, Trey McBride, and Charbonnet. And I was like, fuck it, it's over, man. Like the gap was
Yeah.
huge. There was no chance. And then Garendo scores an early touchdown, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And
Yeah.
Puka's chipping away, he's doing his thing, and he's doing okay, and Charbonnet's doing okay. And then all of a sudden it's like huge rushing touchdown for Charbonnet. Oh, rushing
Yeah.
touchdown for Puka. And Kyler had done not much in the first half, and McBride had 0 points. And I was like,
Yeah.
if those two could get their act together, maybe this is possible. And then it just started raining points for Puka and Charbonnet and Murray, and all of a sudden, my team score was just.
Yeah, man, you had two of the highest scores for players too, Charbonnet and Puka,
Yeah, man.
35 and
I had
34
the
points.
the RB1 on the week and the wide receiver 2. So,
Yeah.
gotta be happy with that. But yeah, 35 points essentially from each one. And then Kyler got there, right? Like it wasn't pretty,
Yeah.
but 19 ended up with almost 20 fantasy points. So gotta love that. And I needed every bit of it with that 153 points. Jay put up 148 after Burrow went off on Monday. So
Yeah. That
it
was a
was
close one, man.
yeah. And then last but not least, was the Battle of Aaron. So Aaron had himself in a situation that because Ryan lost, if he
Hmm.
won, he would overtake that final spot and get into the playoffs. And so Dawn, who really had no interest in winning, she was like, "I just rather get a better draft pick at this point. I'm not going to make the playoffs anyway." Did not really put forth her best lineup and left, guys like Cooper Cup on the bench.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you know, came down to the wire because she almost came back and beat him with Quentin Johnson and Dicker the kicker on Monday or
Yeah.
on Sunday night there. But even with a goose from Lockett and a couple underwhelming performances, he got some good outings from Juwan Jennings. Tua went off again. Tyreek Hill went off for the first time in a while, and he got there.
Yeah. And he left fucking
119
Sam
to 1.
Darnold on the bench.
Woo, buddy! 34.5 points.
34 points. 5 passing touchdowns, dude.
Yeah,
Guy was
he'd be the QB
unreal.
one on any other week, but yeah, that was why JJ and Addison went off, man. All 5 touchdowns
Oh
went to
yeah.
those guys.
Yeah. Crazy.
So it sets up a really, and it was interesting because the matchups, it looked like I was going to land as the 3 seed
Hmm.
and Aaron was going to get in as the 6 seed and we'd play each other. And then Krager would be the 5 seed because he had more points than Aaron. And Justin would be the 4 seed because he was going to lose. And then
Hmm.
Justin won, moved up to the 3 seed. And Aaron actually outscored Craig by just enough points to move up to the 5 seed. So the matchup
Yeah.
stayed the same, but the seeding changed and we
Yeah.
flip flopped.
Yeah.
Um, so it's kind of interesting in that sense because it does change which side of the bracket each matchup's on.
Yeah, that's true.
So it could,
Yeah, Krager has a chance here to get some revenge on Justin.
yeah. So let's
And
just we'll go there in a sec. Let's fire through the weekly leaders and the draft pick first, and then we'll get into this week's matchups.
all right, yeah.
So
The
as
QBs.
expected, Josh Allen, Sam Darnold, Joe Burrow. I think we would have seen that one coming at this point. Your
Yeah.
boy Kittle, Craig's got tight end and Njoku, and then Juwan Johnson all had a good week. My man
Yep.
Charbonnet, Jace pick up Garendo, and Josh Jacobs for Brody. Jamar Chase, Puka, and Addison there. And that's crazy. Justin Jefferson, like 23 points and didn't even make the top 3 on the week.
Brutal.
uh, kudos to Kreger. So despite our badgering, 49ers finished as the #1 defense on the week.
It only took a little bit of chirping, man. And they went
Yeah,
off.
that's fantasy football in a nutshell right there, man. Minus
Oh
6
yeah.
points last 2 weeks, and then they're the #1 defense. Um,
Crazy.
and then the Saints, Bucks, and Steelers all tied for second. Carlson, the kicker there. Sanders, the Dolphins kicker, and then the Chiefs kicker. So what we do know heading into the first week of the playoffs is that the
Yeah.
draft pick for the first 4 picks is set.
Yeah, it is. So we got Brody picking #1. We got Don picking 2, Jay
Is that
picking
right?
3, and Ryan picking 4. So that's
Let's
gonna
make
be
sure that that's correct. I think that's correct. No, sorry, it should be Jay, Brody, Don, Ryan. That's flip flop.
oh sorry, Jay. Oh
Oh, I screwed it up. Hold on. There we go. Okay, Jay, Brody, Don, Ryan is the order.
yeah, Jay, Brody, Don, Ryan.
Yeah. So Jay's going to get the #1 overall pick to try to fix his ailing team, although at this point it doesn't look like he needs much fixing.
Yeah, man, he's got a solid team.
Brody gets the #2 pick to try to rebound with some of his core players. Don
Hmm.
gets #3 to try to overcome the burns from the CMC #1 pick this year. And
Yeah,
then
it's tough.
Ryan will get the 4 pick to try to get himself a playoff caliber team heading into next year.
Yeah, so top
So
4.
top 4 are locked in. It's interesting in that sense. And it'll be, we'll get into this more in the off season, but it'll be interesting how that factors in when you're looking at keepers. Because if you know you're the
Yeah,
#1 pick, then you know you're going to get the highest pick of that
yeah,
round if you don't keep that player, right?
yeah. Lots of decisions to make in the off season, man. Thankfully,
All right.
you and I are not there yet.
No, we are not the top 4 picks, but that's good.
That is good. We'll take that.
So, as we said, you and Cash will be sitting pretty, hanging out, sipping some cocoa around the fire, as they say.
Yeah,
But 4 of us have business to attend to. So, like you said, we get a rematch of that Week 14 battle that was super close, except for this time, some of the players come back. So, Jane Daniels will be back this week for Justin. And then
yeah,
Krager gets back Mixon and Brian Robinson. So
yeah. That's big for Krager too, because Mixon, he was on fire.
yeah, man. And coming off the bye, it's good for an older running back because aside
Oh
from that
yeah,
one down game he had, I mean, look at it, like 16, 16, 19, 34, 21, 25, 26. That's, he's been outrageously good. So, um, in terms of how they stack up, Justin has the head-to-head 2-0. They played twice, but both were close. So, I mean, he beat him 140 to 130, about 10 points or so in week 5. And then last week ended up being 11 points. So, very close matchups. Records, 9-5 versus 7-7. Better, but not like outrageously better. Average points was a little bit, that was substantial. Justin averaged about 120 a week. Craig had averaged just over 100. So I have my kind of interpretation of where I see the edge at each position, but let's break down the lineups and we can go through together and see what your thoughts are too. So
sure.
quarterback, it looks like Krager's going to go with Baker, who's been playing really well. Justin's obviously going to put in Jaden Daniels. What are your thoughts there on who you'd give the edge?
Honestly, I'm going with Jaden Daniels. That guy's just been too good. Like Baker's good, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Jaden Daniels is carrying that squad, man. He's such a diverse like QB. Can do everything.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give the edge to Justin there for sure.
Me too. So that was where I gave the edge. I think his ceiling's higher because Baker Mayfield's without Chris Godwin and he's still got Mike Evans and they've been winning games, but he's got a tough matchup. Chargers have a good defense. Jaden Daniels plays the Saints. The Saints are trash and their offense is just banged up. So I think that's gonna be easy. Next, let's take a look at running backs. So this one's kind of interesting because you've got Saquon Barkley and Chase Brown, and then you got Joe Mixon and Brian Robinson Jr. I think it's comparable, but where do you go here?
This one's definitely tighter, but I mean, dude, you can't. Saquon Barkley with his backwards hurdle.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Justin on this one.
Yeah, I think Mixon has the ability to stay close with Barkley.
I
But you
think Chase
gotta
Brown is
assume
better than
Barkley.
Robinson Jr. though. I think
I
that's
think so
the
too. Yeah, and I mean, like Brian Robinson has been pretty good for the most part, but not as consistent. So we'll see. It all comes down to kind of the Bengals and what they can do there. So if then we flip over, each team is playing 3 wideouts. So Jamar Chase, Calvin Ridley, and Devonta Smith for Justin, Garrett Wilson, Drake London, and Darnell Mooney for Craig. I think this is very interesting. Where do you go here? Do you have an edge, or what do you think?
This one's kind of tough. I would honestly like. I don't know. I'm looking at like the stats and stuff, and I think it's pretty even. Not gonna lie. Like it's like Devontae Smith. He's got Mooney. Like I don't know. It's. I think I would probably give the edge to. I think I'm gonna give the edge to Justin just because Jamar Chase is just fucking
Yeah,
insane.
that's fair.
But
I think
overall,
that's
I
the
think it's
base, right?
fairly even. Yeah, I think it's even other
Yeah,
than Jamar Chase. If he has one of those crazy weeks again, then I think Justin will take it away.
that's the thing, right? Jamar Chase's ceiling is just like miles ahead of any of the other guys that Kreger has. But
Hmm.
like Devonta Smith and Calvin Ridley are not that impressive. So
No,
I think
no.
if you said like any of the 3 players Kreger have probably could outscore any of Ridley and Devonta Smith. It's just a matter of can they outscore them by enough that they can make up
Yeah,
for whatever Jamar Chase does because he's got the potential to go off.
100%. Yeah, yeah. That one's fairly even. Other than that Jamar Chase factor, I think he could really separate that wide receiver field.
Exactly. And then tight end, Justin's rocking Jake Ferguson. Krager's going in Joku. This is probably one of the bigger discrepancies in my opinion, but what are your thoughts here?
Yeah. I mean, I'm going with Kreger on this one to be honest. Joku's
Yeah,
been one of those
Joku.
top guys for a couple weeks now. So
Yeah,
Ferguson is. I mean, Dallas is fucking half. So
Yeah, he's banged up, but assuming he plays, I mean, aside from that snow game in Pittsburgh last 3 weeks,
Mhm.
14, 21, 13, like he's been very good.
Yeah.
And where, like you said, Ferguson, I mean, it hasn't been a very good year. He's lucky to
No.
he's got to 10 3 times on the whole season. So, yeah, definite edge to Kreger there.
Yeah.
Um, Sort of the special teams factor. I mean, kicker wise, you got to give Kreger the edge because Boswell's the number
Yeah.
one kicker in fantasy.
Yeah.
Uh,
100%.
and then defense, I mean, I don't love or
I don't
hate
know.
either. He's going
Yeah.
49ers
Yeah.
again, and
It's
this
going
time against the
49ers.
Rams, who just put up 44 points on Buffalo. So I don't know if I love that.
No.
Eagles against the Steelers, though. That, I guess it depends on George Pickens, because if George Pickens is out, then maybe they can make them one-dimensional. But I do
Yeah.
think the Steelers will score some points on them.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go Kreger on that one too. To be honest, like, I mean, he's got the best kicker in the league.
Yeah,
I mean, the San Fran's like hit or miss, to be honest.
that's a
Like,
wild card.
but both Philadelphia, like kicker and defense, they have a tough matchup against those Steelers, man.
Yeah, yeah, that could be a really low-scoring game too, because neither of
Hmm.
those offenses are super explosive, especially if George Pickens can't go.
Yeah, we'll see though. Jalen
Okay,
Hurts, man, that guy's shifty.
I know. So overall, then, taking into consideration sort of the sum of the parts,
Mhm.
what's your lean here? Who do you think gets the win this week and moves on to the semis?
Honestly, Justin's been rolling these last couple weeks. Krager is hit or miss, but Krager's also got that fucking random weeks where he just pops off. So I don't know. If his San Fran defense puts up negative points for him again, I'm gonna go with fucking Justin here.
Yeah, it is the
But
true wild card, man.
yeah, this is gonna be a tight match, I think. But I think overall,
I,
I think just looking at the teams, I'm thinking I got Justin as the favorite here.
I think it comes down to because aside from Mixon, Kreger doesn't really have that guy that can go out there and put up 30 plus points. So
Yeah,
it comes down to what how high do Barkley, Chase, and Daniels go this week? Because
yeah.
if they
If they have
if
some
one of
down
them
weeks,
has one of those, yeah, like they're not always good, right?
hmm
I mean, Chase is almost always good, but outside of him, like Barkley's had a down week here and there. Jaden Daniels had some with his ribs banged up. So
hmm
if those guys all spike, then it's just going to be. I don't think Krieger's going to have a chance. If one of them has
yeah,
a
I
down
think it'll
week,
be those three guys are gonna be like the big X factors because I think that if they all three pop off, I think Krager's done. If
too
two
much.
out of
Yeah,
three pop off, I still think he's done. But if all three have down weeks, I think Krager has a chance to take this one.
yeah. I would predict Justin, but it's probably like the projections say 61-39, and like I don't necessarily always agree with projections, but I think they've got that pretty close to accurate. Like I think that's about the
Yeah,
percentage I would give it. It's about 60-40.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree with that. That's for sure.
All right.
All
Well,
right, good matchup.
here we go. Me and Aaron. So we've been texting this morning since the day started, and been prepping each other for what's sure to be a battle. This is probably is either the third or fourth time we've played each other in the playoffs in this league. I've
Jesus.
never lost to him in the playoffs, so there's a lot on the line here. Uh, and I also spoiled his one year when he went something crazy like 13-2 or 12-3 or so. He had like a really good year, finished as the 1 seed, and I got in as the 4 seed in the last week and ended up beating him. So there's a
Wow.
lot of history here. We've got certainly a lot of times we've played one another. In terms of this season, though, because we played each other in week 9, we only played each other once, and that was the
Wow.
everything that could go wrong did go wrong for me week, where Kyler put
Yeah.
up 4 points, Puka punched somebody in the head and got ejected. AJ Brown
Hmm.
pulled his hammy, and my whole team just crumbled all in one week. And
Yeah.
so he beat me that week. Um, you know, record, same thing. I'm 9-5. He's 7-7. Not that far off. Point totals not far off from the last one. I'm 118. He's that same 105. I don't know if we
Mhm.
touched on that, but the total points that they finished with. Let me just grab it for a quick sec. So he finished. He did finish ahead of Kreger with 1,407.5 points. Kreger finished with
Wow.
1,407.02 points.
Holy shit, that was fucking close, man.
Can you imagine if that was for the 6 and 7 seed? And you missed the
Dude.
playoffs because of a half point over the course of 14 weeks?
Oh my god. Well, Kreger could blame his fucking San Fran defense if that was the
Yeah,
case.
that's right. Man, I mean, I know point total matters, but Jesus, that would have
That's
been an
yeah, that's
absolute
wild.
travesty to not make the playoffs by a half point.
Yeah, that is wild.
I would have been throwing a TV or something at that point. That would have been bad.
Oh, dude.
I
Yeah, that would
couldn't
have been
imagine.
terrible. That's oh man. Oh, Josh running into some issues here. Still there, Josh? Technical difficulties, everyone. Crazy. Where are you, buddy? Just want to go on the record and say, screw you, Cash. Not putting a kicker in. That's a ballsy move, buddy. I hope you do that in the playoffs too. See how ballsy you get. Oh, there goes Josh. He'll probably come back in a second here. There he is.
Hey, all
I
right.
was just making some talk with the fans, telling Cash to go screw himself.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, I made a rookie move. I thought that I had my computer charged and plugged in, and the charger apparently was not plugged in. So,
That's all good. All good.
all
Technical
right.
difficulties.
Yeah, thanks for carrying the ship while I was gone. All right, let's get into this one. So we'll do the same thing. Let's go position by position. So,
All right.
he's currently got Tua in there, which is always interesting because he's got to go between Tua and Sam Darnold now.
Yeah.
So right now he's got Tua. I'm rocking Kyler. I said I was going to keep going with him, so I stay the course there.
Yeah. And usually he bounces back, so we'll see how he does because he kind of had like an iffy week for you, but
Yeah,
I think he's gonna bounce back.
yeah. Fantasy wise, it was pretty good, but you're right. He's inconsistent.
Hmm.
What are your thoughts here? Who do you give the lean to?
Oh man, so this one's weird because Kyler Murray is a very good QB, but he's got Tua who's against Houston. He's also got Darnold who's against Chicago. So in my opinion, I think I'm probably gonna go with Aaron here just because of the matchups, and he's got two QBs that he can pick from rather than just one.
Sure. Yeah, I feel more confident that his QB will have a good game.
Hmm.
I think Kyler could have a great game, but he's so inconsistent where Tua's pretty much a lock to have a good day.
Hmm.
Darnold's also probably a lock to have a good day.
The only
Kyler,
good thing that you have is that Kyler Murray's against New England, and New England is
yeah,
fucking terrible. So that could be a massive week for Kyler Murray.
that's what I'm hoping is it's one of those times where the Cardinals just pound the shit out of them and keep hammering touchdowns in. I'm also hoping it's not a James Conner week where they actually score some touchdowns through the air versus on the ground. But yeah, I think I
Yeah.
could match him there, but I give him the edge, at least at the moment anyway.
Hmm.
All right,
Yeah, I
running
definitely
backs.
agree.
So I've got Devon Achan and Bijan Robinson. He's got Monty and Walker, but we do know Walker missed last week,
Yeah,
hence my
he could
Charbonnet
be
pickup.
unavailable.
So he could be going with he picked up Sincere McCormick the running back for the Raiders that's emerged. So,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, we'll have to kind of blend that. Could be Ken Walker, could be McCormick, but certainly Monty's in, and then Achan and
Mhm.
Bijan for me.
Yeah, this one I'm gonna go with you. I think on this one, like you have like the more like I mean Montgomery's been really good,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Walker's gonna play. We'll see. He's got some calf injury or something, right? So
Well,
uh,
it's going to be interesting. We'll see, right? He's he missed last game. He's trying to get out there.
mhm. But yeah, I'm gonna go with you here because I think you're both your duo there. Your boy A-Chain there and Robinson. I think they're gonna have good weeks. Robinson's a
Yeah,
fucking solid QBs or a solid RB, so we'll
good
that's
good
gonna be a good
matchup
one.
this
I
week
think.
too for him.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree. I prefer my running backs there, especially if Walker misses. If Walker plays, it's pretty close. I still give myself the edge, but if he
yeah,
misses, then no offense to Sincere McCormick, but
yeah. I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, Montgomery's against Buffalo too, so like that's gonna be a tough one.
yeah,
Those two juggernaut teams, man. That's gonna be some good football.
that's for sure. All right, so wideouts. We both have three in right now. So he's got Tyreek to stack with Tua. He's got Jawan Jennings, who's emerged as the number one. And then he's got Tank Dell. I got Puka Nakua on the other side of that Thursday night game. I got
Hmm.
Nico Collins, who's on the same team as Tank Dell. And then I got Jerry Judy, who's been balling out since Jameis Winston took over.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's been really good. Um, yeah, I think this one's pretty in your favor there. Like Puka's been fucking good since he's come back.
So,
Nico Collins also very good. And yeah, as you said, Judy's been fucking on fire lately.
yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
even his down game's been pretty good.
yeah, the only factor is really Tyreek that he has, in my opinion.
Yeah, if Tyreek goes vintage Tyreek like he has the last couple weeks, then it's and
Mhm.
Jawan Jennings has actually been very good.
He has
Um,
been. Yeah,
Games where things have been healthy. So it's going
I
to be
think it's that
kind of
last
fun.
one for me though. Tank Dell. I don't think he's that
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, he's not there to keep up with the others.
Yeah,
Um, it'll be
100%.
fun to see tomorrow night. You'll have Puka on my side for the Rams and Jennings on his side for the 49ers. So that'll be kind of how we square things off.
Hmm.
Uh, Over to tight end. Two of the better tight ends in the league this year, Trey McBride and
Yeah,
Brock Bowers. Um, where do
fucking Brock
you?
Bowers had that crazy week against me. Fucking
Oh
bullshit.
yeah, that's true.
This one's honestly, this one's to me is pretty like it's pretty even to me. Like I don't know, like it's like Bowers is good, but he's kind of inconsistent in the last couple weeks anyway. He's been really good though.
Yeah, I think
But
that. Go ahead. Yeah,
yeah, but like McBride, like he's been solid. So I don't know. This one to me is pretty even, I would say.
I agree. I think if not for the quarterback issues that are going on in Vegas right now and
Mhm.
the uncertainty around, Aiden O'Connell being banged up and maybe Desmond Ritter having to play and them being against Atlanta, who's not like an elite defense, but can cause some problems. Then Bowers would probably get the edge. But with quarterback issues, with a good matchup for the Cardinals, I think it's
Yeah,
pretty close here. I think either one of them could have a great day.
yeah. I just think New England's very poor. So if there was a slight edge, I would just go with matchups, and I would probably take McBride against the Patriots there.
Yeah. All right. So special teams. So this was where we each made a move. He wisely pivoted from the Houston defense that's playing Miami. Went out and got
Hmm.
the Ravens, who are playing the lowly Giants there, and Drew Lock's banged up, so they're gonna have to go back to Tommy DeVito, and that's
Hmm.
that's not good news for anybody, except for the Baltimore defense. And then I went and grabbed Fairbairn, who he had dropped because he was on a bye, and
Yeah,
he's actually the number two kicker on the year behind Boswell, so that was a pickup I
yeah.
was excited about.
He's been solid. He's been very solid, and looks like you're rocking your Denver Broncos, who have been fucking lights out
That's
right
the
before the
plan.
bye there.
That's as of right now. I mean 13, 10, 20. They were pretty consistent there. Anthony
Mhm.
Richardson's been better since he came back, but he's got to go on the road to Denver, play in the altitude against the hungry Broncos defense. So
Yeah.
I'm optimistic on that, but yeah, this one's close in my opinion because I think he has the slightly better defense because they play the Giants, who are just trash. And I think I
Mhm.
have the more reliable kicker because Buffalo scores a lot of touchdowns and doesn't kick very many field goals.
Yeah, and Tyler Bass has been kind of ass this year.
Yeah,
He's been
like
kind of shit.
he's had a couple of big games, but I mean, you look at the number of extra points that the guy's kicked, it's just outrageous. Like he's just
Yeah, yeah.
this Buffalo's just scoring so many touchdowns, and then still, they'll go for two sometimes. Like they're an aggressive
Mhm.
team in the red zone.
Yeah, this one to me. hmm, this is a tight one, but if I think I'm gonna give the edge to you if your Broncos have a good week because they have
Mm,
been right before the right before the bye week they were on fire there for like 3 weeks in a row.
yeah,
But yeah, I think you have the better kicker, and it's all gonna be. I mean, matchup wise, the Giants are fucking terrible, so we'll see. That
yeah,
one's I would say that one's pretty even. If I would give the edge to you if Denver's got a good week in them.
yeah. I think if the Broncos defense matches the Ravens defense, then I get the edge with the kicker. So
Yeah,
that's
I
kind of how
agree.
I feel. All right. So overall, sum of the parts. What's your gut feeling here?
Oh man, this is gonna be a fun one to watch too. They're both the quarterfinal games, but honestly, I think I'm gonna go with you here. As much as I don't like agreeing with that event all the time, but I think the matchups that you have on your side, just like Arizona against New England,
Yeah,
like that's going to be a big one for your QB.
Bijan taking on the lowly Raiders.
Yeah, Lonely Raiders. He's got some tough matchups. Like Montgomery against the Bills. That's going to be a tough one, man.
Yeah, and even the Dolphins against Houston, like Houston's defense, even though
Yeah,
Houston hasn't been winning games dramatically, like their defense has been pretty good the last few weeks.
yeah, and even the Niners against the Rams. Like Jennings is going to have some issues, I think, too. But
Mm,
I think I'm gonna give the edge to you. I'm liking your team. I'm liking the moves that you made there. Kicker, that was a smart pickup for the kicker too. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I
We'll
feel like
see. We'll
that was
see if
the I feel like that was the missing piece for me. I've been
mm,
turning through kickers and at times turning through defenses. I feel good about the
yeah,
Broncos D right now, but yeah, I needed a kicker, so we'll see.
yeah,
I think the only other thing that could sway this matchup is if Walker's ruled out, then I'll have the decision of whether to play Charbonnet. And after last week,
mm,
it's going to probably be hard not to play him, and I'd have to put him in over Jerry Judy. But I think that gives me a huge advantage because he loses one of his best running backs, and I
yeah,
gain essentially that running back plus some with Charbonnet, right?
yeah. I agree. And we'll see. We'll see if Aaron pivots from anything. Like we'll see if he throws Sam Darnold in there. He's got Debo on the
Yeah,
bench too.
yeah,
We'll
yeah.
see.
He's
He's
got
got
some moves he can make.
tools here to fuck around with if he need be.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm going bold. I'm benching AJ Brown. He's had
Yeah, you are going
3 weeks,
bold.
man, because they're just like they're not throwing the ball. Like they're
No.
just handing it to Barkley, right? I mean, he's Jalen Hurts is averaging 25 passing attempts a game. So like
hmm
when they're only throwing the ball 25 times, then he's not going to complete all of those, and then it has to be split between Barkley and Smith and Hurts and whoever else. It's just like I was like,
Yeah.
man, you know what? I'm gonna put him on the bench. If he goes off, I'll feel better for next week, but I'm not trusting him this week.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they have a tough matchup against Pittsburgh too, so that might not
Yeah,
be a bad idea.
exactly. Right. See what happens. And then, yeah, if things go well, then they get Washington next week, and maybe I'll feel better about that if I can make it through.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I think it's time to move on to the consolation.
Yeah, so we'll break this down in more detail next week when we see the two teams, yeah, the four teams kind of putting out their rosters. But just as a bit of a preview in terms of what it's going to look like, finishing as the 7 seed, It's
Ryan.
Ryan. Yeah. So Ryan's going to
Yeah.
take on Jay. So, that'll be kind of interesting. Ryan's team's sort of been on the downtrend as the year's gone on. Jay's team's
Hmm.
been kind of rising and playing spoiler.
Yeah.
So Ryan's going to have to put some work together because, if he loses, then he'll be in the finals for the Blue Balls Trophy, and that's not where you want to be.
Yeah. Definitely don't want to be in there. Yeah, that's
Uh,
gonna be an interesting one. And then we got Dawn, who's the finished 8th seed, against Brody, who finished 9. So that'll be
yeah,
an interesting one too.
yeah, because it'll be interesting because her mentality this week was like, I can't make the playoffs, so might as well just let my team do what they do because, I'm gonna miss anyway. But now
Hmm.
it's, oh, I don't want to lose because I don't want that fucking trophy. So
Yeah, exactly.
it'll
And
shift.
something to note here too is Brody's actually led in the most points against out of every team
Mm,
in our league with 1,654. Next closest person would be actually you with
yeah,
1,584, which is kind of crazy stat too.
yeah, he's had the toughest schedule. I've had the second toughest schedule, and then Justin actually has had the third
Yeah.
toughest schedule.
And
So
then least amount of points. It looks like
Aaron, by a
yeah,
mile, man.
yeah, it looks like Aaron by like crazy amount, which is
Man, the,
insane.
the gap between Aaron and Brody is like almost 300 points. I
Yeah,
mean, over the course of that's like 20 points a week.
yeah, that's
So I
wild.
mean, that's a that definitely affects how many wins and losses you end up with when your opponents are scoring 20 points a week more than the other guys, right?
Yeah, pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and
That's
Cash have pretty similar points against. Like I'm at 1,457, he's at 1,453.
yeah. You guys
So
have
those are
both
the
had
top two
what
seeds.
would be considered easier schedules.
Yeah, that's
It's all part of it.
it's gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be a
A
fun
little bit of
battle.
luck has to come to win too, right? You don't get to the end without a little bit of luck helping.
Oh yeah, 100%. I just really want to see Cash get taken out in the fucking semis.
Yeah. Well, we'll be there to preview that next week and see who he's matched up against. But
Oh yeah.
I'll be
Yeah, maybe
I'll
we can
be
get some more
rooting.
guys here on the podcast for next week. Playoff
Yeah, we
potty.
should try to get especially if it's me and you and Cash and whoever else, try to get the four of
Mhm.
us on to talk about the semifinal matchups together. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be good. I'd be down for that.
All right, let's wrap her up with the Thursday night picks. So we got the Rams and 49ers tomorrow. Um,
Yeah.
49ers looked like themselves for the first time in a while, beating up on Chicago. Rams knocked
Yeah.
off arguably the best team in the league, beside maybe Detroit.
Mhm.
Um, what are your thoughts here on this one?
This one, hmm. This one's tough, but I think I'm probably gonna go Rams here. I'm a big 49ers guy. I love the 49ers. They're probably my second favorite team. But I don't know, man. Like they just don't look like the 49ers like of last year, the year before that. And the Rams, like they're putting up they put up crazy amount of points against Buffalo there, man. It was insane.
So good.
So I'm gonna my pick's gonna go. I'm gonna go with the Rams here.
I'm with you, man. I think the Rams are just they're on fire at the right time. I think the
Hmm.
49ers got lucky that they played a lowly Bears team at home. But I think the Rams are playing the right kind of football, and they're going to be super confident after knocking off the Bills. Like they're going to
Oh yeah,
feel like they can beat
100%.
anybody.
Stafford playing really well, and I think the Stafford Purdy matchup. Purdy's like he's been something's wrong with his shoulder. You can just tell. So I think Stafford's gonna outplay him.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. I think that's the way this one finishes.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. Kittle's been good for me, so hopefully, I'm just hoping he doesn't get fucking hurt.
Yeah, we talked about this last week when you get there's the bye. You're just sitting
Yeah,
there with all your players going, nobody get hurt. I need you next week.
yeah. Those are two big matchups for me too, because I got Kittle on one end and I got Williams,
Kyron.
one of my better running backs. So
Yeah.
that's just no one get hurt. That's the thing.
Yeah, and I played a little bit of chess this week. I checked in last week and this week on where the waivers are at, and I've been
Oh
purposely
yeah.
not picking people up making waiver claims so that I can move up the ranks. So I'm number 2 right now, behind only Don. So if one of those big time running backs like James Conner or Kyron Williams or Aaron Jones or somebody or Charbonnet or Bijan or somebody like that goes down, I'll basically get first dibs at scooping up the backup here for the semifinals if I'm still around. So
Oh yeah, I know. I made that move last week, man. Picking up James Conner.
yeah, you got Connor right. It worked
Yeah,
the priority there. But
yeah,
all right, well, good luck to Kreger and Justin. Hey, Aaron, go eat shit and let's have some fun football this week.
yeah. That's some good matchups.
That's right. All right, man. Well, thanks for jumping on. It's been a good time. And to everyone out there, as always, clear eyes, full
Yeah,
heart.
can't
And
lose.